It's a word I hear often, too often for my liking. Burnout. Burnout. I want to specifically talk about therapists' burnout today because I was talking to a therapist a few days ago and she actually gave me kind of a little bit of a food for thought about this topic, and I was thinking, okay, why is understanding burnout important, especially if you are a therapist? If you're not a therapist and you're watching this, it's okay, because it's not about just being a therapist, it's about being a human being, connecting with other human beings. So I kind of thought about it for a little while, and I was thinking it'd be good to categorize burnout into sort of 4 sections. So mainly this is for therapists, but also it is for you as an emotional being. So if you find yourself burning out, and what does burnout mean? Burnout means where you suddenly, you kind of, literally have a hole in your petrol tank. You literally go from topped up to like out of petrol really quickly. So you get tired really quickly, you have really low energy, you just don't have enough headspace, you can't focus and you can't concentrate, you find your attention wanders off quite a bit, you have low patience and hardly any tolerance. These are real signs that you are burning out and you're heading towards basically breaking down on the M4 in the fast lane, right? And we don't want that to happen. Especially with therapists who are listening to other people's issues and challenges and problems all day long. It's easy to burn out if you don't have these things in place, okay? So I'm just going to talk to you about the building blocks that you need to have in place to avoid burnout. Okay, so the first thing to notice about yourself or to know about yourself is, where are you on what I call the psychopathic empathic scale, right? So we've got a scale. Imagine the scale is like this, and on one end is psychopathic, which is I'm able to literally not have any emotion and I don't care, and then there's the empathic scale, whereas I have a lot of emotion and I care deeply about everything and everybody. If you're more here and less here, you're much more likely to have the propensity to burn out, because you're going to be taking on a lot of external emotions as well as your own, and this will tip your stress bucket over. So it's not about turning you into a psychopath, I don't mean that at all. It's about recognizing how you can come into the middle, really. So understanding how you can emotionally regulate, understanding how you can find an off switch for your emotions so they're not always on. Understand, especially if you're a therapist, that you are an enabler, not a fixer. So you're not fixing somebody, you're enabling them to fix themselves. There is a really important distinction there. Okay, so that's one kind of box, the empathic, psychopathic box. Then again, we go to boundaries. Boundaries are really, really important for all of us in life, not just as therapists, but just as people hanging out with other people. When I say boundaries, I don't mean we've all got to go around with a brick wall around us. I mean, it's about learning the safe distance between you and somebody else, and everyone will have their own version of what a boundary means. A flexible boundary is absolutely fine, because then that's movable. Sometimes you will need more of a fixed boundary, and you will kind of know when that's the case. Also, taking it back to the idea of therapist and client, you've got to recognize the boundary between when you are a therapist and when you are a friend. Same with parenting. You want to be friendly with your kids, but you're not their friend, you're their parent. So there's a boundary issue there. Also, clear terms of service or conditions need to be addressed. when you are able to have that clarity of understanding between each other, then you've got really good boundaries established, and therefore you're less likely to burn out, because you're less likely to allow anyone else to take on or you take on anyone else's emotional stuff, really, because you've created a protective boundary around you that's right for you. The next thing is balance. Balance is a very important thing we need in life, and I'm not just talking about work-life balance, I'm talking about self-care. So balancing yourself and knowing when you come out of balance. So it's about recognizing that you've got think of it like a pathway. So you're on a pathway and you feel centered and you feel sort of strong. When you come off the pathway, you can sort of feel a little bit like you're in wobbly territory. When you're in wobbly territory, it's a sign and an indication to say that, oh, I've come off my path, I need to find some balance again. So whatever you do to find balance, that could be going for a walk, it could be just taking some time out, it could be, you know, doing some self-care ritualing, it could just be having an early night or switching off somehow, that way. So just recognizing that balance is not selfish, it's selfless. You've got to have balance in order to be balanced and harmonious around you, and therefore you'll be able to hold the space, not just as a therapist but also as a human being. Talking of balance, obviously when you have good balance, your energy is going to be higher anyway, you're going to be topped up. And it's all about recognizing that, a bit like in your car when you've got the fuel indicator, if your fuel indicator is going down into red, and say you've got to take a long journey somewhere, well, the first thing you would do, I would hope, is to fill up at the petrol station, right? Because if you didn't, you would break down again on the M4 or whatever motorway you're on, and that would be annoying. So it's about recognizing how you can top your own battery levels up or your own fuel tank up. And the next thing, this is actually about therapy, really. So it's about recognizing that you are a therapist and this is your business. Unless you're being a therapist out of some kind of hobby or duty or obligation, which, in my opinion, isn't right. Because then that means you are just open to everybody telling you their problems whenever. 4 in the morning, someone could call you and say, hi, I'm feeling really, really anxious, having a panic attack, what can I do? I mean, the boundary there is really bad, right? So if you are a therapist, you have to make it your business to be a therapist. You are in the business of helping people. You're not just a text a therapist, whenever you like, sort of thing. So really, with the terms of conditions of the business, they've got to be clear. You've got to have the distinction between, am I doing this for a hobby or am I doing this as a career? And also, actually, payment and fees is very, very important. This is my opinion, I know it's not shared by everybody, but if you offer your services out for free, one, the message there is what I do isn't of value to me, so therefore it might not be of value to you. That's a subconscious and subliminal message there. If you offer your service out with a payment attached to it, now I don't mean you have to be up there in, like ridiculous fees, but some kind of payment, which is a negotiation, that will say to the person receiving your service that you value yourself and the service that they are getting is valuable, so then in turn they will value it as well. So really, to avoid any type of burnout, you've got to have those 4 building blocks in place. So thinking about empath, psychopath, where you are on that scale, thinking about your boundaries and how you can establish professional and personal boundaries effectively, thinking about how you can balance your life and work and relationships out, and then also as therapists thinking about building your business and creating measurable goals. So that's it really. So I'm thinking of running a burnout masterclass. So if you are interested, for those of you who've been watching, or if you know anybody who's heading towards burnout in the fast lane, please do share this video with them when it's when it's not live. So enjoy the sunshine. Take care everyone, lots of love. Bye.